guys, welcome back to another edition of Raw Intuition Inside Scoop. And this edition is a little different. This one I've got a special guest for you, and it is one that I know very well. It is my brother Justin. And my brother and I have been talking about fasting and cleansing and other diet and lifestyle habits that we both kind of do. And he just finished an 8-day water fast. And so I thought that it would be a good conversation to have and share with you guys and just kind of give you an idea of what somebody goes through. If you are interested in learning more about water fasting, about just cleansing in general, and living a healthy lifestyle. So, Justin, thanks a lot for coming on the channel and sharing with us what you have experienced.
Thank you. Good to see you.
You too. So, first off, let's kind of just cover what is water fasting and why did you get into it?
Well, what it is you drink about 1.5 gallons of water a day, and that's it. It's pretty simple.
And why would you want to do that?
What it does is detoxify your body completely. It is a detox that you can't experience any other way.
Okay.
What came out of my urine was very brown throughout the experience. It was deep brown. I was releasing a lot of toxins through sweating. And also your tongue gets a white coating on it. So you're basically detoxing through your mouth as well, through your tongue.
Wow. Okay, so you experienced all of these things?
Yes.
Okay. What other things did you experience? Was it easy for you to go the whole 8 days? And did you plan on going 8 days? How did you determine how long you were going to do this fast?
Well, I really had to quit it because of my job. I had to, just due to work requirements, I couldn't be that weak. I lost a lot of my strength throughout my fast, and it just, my job required me to end it this week.
Yeah, work makes it tough for most people to do any sort of fasting. But would you say that it's important to study fasting before you do it, or what did you do? Did you read about it or do any sort of studying on it before you actually got into it?
Right. With anything like this, any type of experiment like this, I probably overstudy it. I've looked into it for many years.
Do you have any favorite books or sources of information on it, or do you just kind of get random things here and there?
I read Paul Bragg's book, The Miracle of Fasting.
That's a good one, yeah.
I've seen a lot of Lauren Lockman's videos. I've listened to a guy named Robert Cassar. Just, a lot of the guys on YouTube that you've seen.
Yeah.
I've listened to all those guys. I've dabbled in it my own with shorter fasts, day, 2 days. Like I said, I've done juice fast, kind of get you prepared.
Yeah.
I had been intermittent fasting up until this fast, so I think that somewhat prepared me for going on a longer true fast.
Right. And what is intermittent fasting?
That's where you give yourself a block of eating time a day. For me, it was anywhere from 1 in the afternoon till 3 in the afternoon until 4 or 5 at night.
Okay.
That way, it just gives your system a good rest. You're not digesting food all day. So I think it's been a good precursor to a true fast.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Maybe start out intermittent fasting, maybe a juice fast or a fruit fast, kind of get your body acclimated to less digestion and spending more of its energy on healing and revitalizing the body. Now, you said that you were drinking 1 gallon to 1.5 gallons of distilled water, yet your urine was still pretty dark, right?
It was.
Right. So that was all toxins just getting flushed out.
That's what I'm going to say it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know most people, if they drank 1 gallon to 1.5 gallons of water, their urine would be clear.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was it like? Did you have ups and downs? Was it pretty consistent the whole way through, or what did you experience?
Well, it was a really interesting 8 days. It was full of unexpected events, things I hadn't experienced before. And, it started on day 3 with me waking up in the middle of the night, writhing in pain. My legs, my quads, my calves, my hips were in just a state of, it just felt like they were just throbbing. I couldn't sleep. I really didn't sleep that well at all during the fast. I had a hard time getting more than maybe 4 or 5 hours straight of sleep.
Hmm.
Um, I was really like I said, after that night 3, that weakness continued throughout the rest of the fast, and it kind of correlates what I said earlier. It's what got me uh, at the end to break my fast. The research I've done has said that the pain I experienced was deep-seated toxins being released from deep tissue in your muscles. So,
Okay. Um, and you had mentioned that you were experiencing some cravings. What was that?
oh yeah, the on day 5, about I started to really crave animal products and fast food and just the worst types of foods you could eat. It's stuff that I haven't eaten for years, and all of a sudden I'm thinking that sounds really good. And normally I have no issue avoiding those things. They give me no pause to stop and think how great that would be. I don't crave those foods at all. But during the last phase of my fast, it crept back in to a pretty high level.
Mm.
Took me by surprise.
Yeah,
Still haven't figured that one out.
right. What comes to mind for me would either be parasites or candida or just toxins from fast food and meat products and animal products that you were, pulling deep from the tissues, pulling back out to be eliminated, and that was just triggering that sensation. I don't know if that's what it was, but that would be the first thing that I would kind of think of.
It's a thought. It could also be psychological.
Yeah, could be.
The body hasn't eaten for so long. It just could be, when they got those high, addictive foods in your face like that. It's probably quite an attraction for the mind.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. So something that is very important that people don't really realize when they think of fasting is breaking the fast, which is just as important as anything else throughout that fast, if not the most important thing. And so, how did you break the fast, and what sorts of foods did you use?
I broke it with a watermelon this morning at 10 o'clock,
Mm.
and it was excellent. I really took my time eating it. It was a great experience. I had three different meals today, I guess you could call them. I had watermelon. I had some coconut yogurt, and I had a salad with some split pea soup, which was the only cooked food I ate today. I wasn't really even planning on eating cooked food today, but I ended up eating a little bit.
Yeah, that
But yeah, it was okay. It went pretty well.
okay. So what did you feel any like shifts in energy when you started reintroducing food, or were you pretty good after your meals?
Well, I had great energy after eating my first meal of watermelon. I felt great up until I ate the soup, and it's not like I felt bad afterwards, but I had a definite drop in my vitality. My energy took a dip.
Mm.
Almost the second I started to digest that pea soup, it kind of took a dip.
Yeah.
So like I said earlier, I think you're onto something with the raw intuition. The raw foods, the living foods, there's no doubt.
Oh yeah.
yes, there's something to it.
Right. Yeah, and I can go back to my 6-month experiment with eating more cooked foods, and I wasn't even fasting. I just reintroduced some more cooked foods into my diet, and I felt the decrease in my energy, my mental clarity. So it's not that I'm completely against cooked food. I just, me personally, is the higher up that I get on raw foods, the more clear I think, and the more motivated I am, and just the better I feel overall. But that it's different for everybody. I mean, what have you experienced with that? I know that you have gone, back in the day, you were a pretty high raw foodist. I know now you eat a little more cooked food. What do you notice from then compared to now?
Yeah, I went about 6 months being 95, to, right around 95% raw, and I felt great. With our location, it's tough.
Hmm.
Going through winter, it's tough. Uh, Financially, it can be tough eating very high raw. Just keeping the food always stocked because it spoils and whatnot and
Hmm.
goes bad. And sometimes you just want to eat a heavier, numbing food. I think for me, that's the main reason I went back to uh, more cooked over raw here and there, especially for my main meal, is because I just wanted to be, numbed out and kind of, you know,
From stress or
from just the daily stresses of life and
yeah,
not be in an ideal position and all that stuff. Just with what everybody goes through,
right,
and it's definitely I don't think it's a poison as some people would say, but it's not going to give you the highest vitality.
right, yeah. So now I know that you said that you are intermittent fasting. So what sort of things do you eat now in that window of time that you're eating?
Well, lately my meal has been I eat one main meal a day, and lately it's been majority of it has been cooked. It's been either a lentil or a rice and bean type dish, and then everything I eat on the side of that would be like stuff like dates, fruits, leafy greens. I have salads. I basically everything other than my main meal lately has been nutrient dense, green vegetables or fruits. So
Hmm.
with with that one main cooked food,
Yeah,
that's been that's been what I've been eating for the past couple months.
cool. All right, so with this fasting and living a vegan diet and lifestyle, what benefits have you experienced, and where do you see going from here?
Well, it brought me to becoming vegan, which something I never ever thought I would say that I am. Number one, I don't label myself vegan.
Hmm.
I really don't, even though all of my beliefs now they all revolve in that world. That's where I'm at. You just it's gotten me to care more about things that I never cared about before. Pay attention to things that I never paid attention to before.
Hmm.
Important things. I think most people are paying attention to things that aren't important at all.
Yeah,
And just this type of thinking, this type of lifestyle will get you in the right frame of mind
right.
to improve things.
Yeah. So, what health benefits have you seen? I know that you had a lot of congestion issues prior to going into this sort of lifestyle. What was that about?
Right. Well, that may be the one main thing. I didn't get into this just for the spiritual aspect or for the animals or anything like that. Sadly to say, I got into it for my own health reasons, and the main thing that I was struggling with was I had nasal congestion to the point where I couldn't breathe through my nose at all. I mean, very, very little. It was something where it plagued me for the entire first two-thirds of my life, far longer than that, my entire life. It's plagued me my entire life up until I was, I don't know, close to 30.
Hmm.
Then I found oil of oregano. I took one dose of oil of oregano, and lo and behold, within 6 hours, maybe even less, it's like a magic pill. My sinuses opened up, and it has never gone back to where it was previously since. It's been the life changer that I was looking for. And I
Yeah.
think my whole infatuation with studying health and alternative health and holistic health and food as medicine journey started from that first dropper of oregano.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you had a bottle of that nasal spray with you everywhere you went. Back.
I was an Afrin addict.
Yeah. Yeah, you really used that stuff quite a bit. And then when you got into the oil of oregano, then I started trying it too. I mean, I was rubbing it all over, my shins. I was putting it all over my body. I was just like bathing in the stuff practically. And yeah, it's really powerful stuff. Um, and the other thing that you got into around that same time was the chaga, right?
Yeah, chaga. It's huge. I haven't seen any really health benefits from chaga, but yet I haven't really used it medicinally. I want to get back into that. I've still got a whole box of it laying around somewhere.
Hmm.
I've made the powdered chaga coffee, which I thought was great. I think that'd be a great alternative to any regular coffee or
Yeah.
whatever type of like hot cocoa or whatnot.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd like to get back in experimenting more with that, but I'm sure it's a powerful. These herbs and plants are just the powerful healers that people need to find.
Right. Yeah. All right. So going back to your entry into the vegan lifestyle and what made you want to do this and how did you start? Because a lot of people tell me that they think the vegan diet and lifestyle is attractive, but they don't know how to do it, and so they just don't. So why did you do it, and how did you transition into it?
Well, that's a good question, but for me, it was more of a transition from just beginning out. In my mind, I was eating clean. I was still eating animal products. I was still eating meat, but I was adding in a lot of fruits and a lot of raw stuff. I was highly raw with still uh, animal products and some probably processed foods, and but just clean as it was all grass. It was that was where I started, and it
Hmm.
just kind of slowly evolved into after that. I had that phase where I was raw, just raw, for 6 months, and then I might have gone back to even eating animals a little bit again. I'm not sure. I don't remember the exact timeline of the whole thing, but
Yeah.
I've been completely vegan now for 2.5 years, I would guess. It's just been an evolution of, learning and understanding. And once you come to certain truths in your mind, you just don't eat other things anymore, and you
Yeah.
just kind of live a certain way.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, craving wise, did you have to? Is the reason you went back to meat due to cravings, or was it just like, do you remember if you just felt certain feelings in your body that you needed it, or what?
I think I was still in the experimenting phase. I hadn't told myself I was vegan. I hadn't really gotten to the ethical aspects of it yet.
Okay.
I was strictly in it for health and trying to just be as clean and as healthy as I could. Um, and my meat consumption was minimal from the beginning of this. It was a minimal thing, I would say, uh, compared to what most people eat.
Yeah.
But the exact reasons why I went back to eating meat, I don't. I couldn't tell you. Just for experimental reasons.
Right. When did you start to maybe make the connection on the ethical side of it and realizing that, maybe eating animal products and animal flesh wasn't aligning with your ethics?
Probably a couple of years ago, I watched all the documentaries. Those are when you see that footage for the first time, and you're a conscious person. It's really hard to imagine, taking part in what that is, and it's just not something I wanted to be part of any longer.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all the it really didn't take much. Once you see that footage, you know what's going on,
Right.
and just what goes into that food, and number one, is horrible for you,
Mm-hmm.
and just other living things shouldn't be treated that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you think are the main benefits that you've seen since completely eliminating all animal products?
That's a tough question because I'll be honest with you, the best I've ever felt in my life, I was still eating a small amount of animal products, which might throw you for one, but the best I ever felt in my life, I was probably eating 5 to 10% of my calories from animal products. Maybe even a little bit higher, who knows? But I was high raw with small amounts of I ate bison quite a bit for my meat. It was what I was eating then, and I was feeling great. I don't know if it was because of that or what, but it just so happens over the course of time I've dropped that out.
Okay.
And I'm still looking for that holy grail of vitality again, and I'm sure I'll find it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that we've talked about this before, and I don't know if you agree or not, but, I feel like the reason that you may have felt such an increase in well-being and an increase in energy and just overall happiness would be, just that flood of nutrients coming into your system that it wasn't used to, and you just went from such a low nutrient diet to a high nutrient diet, and maybe that's why you were feeling so good. And now that you have felt that way for a little while, maybe it's not quite as noticeable, or maybe you're just doing different things now that you were doing back then, regardless of the animal products. So even if you weren't eating those, are there any other things that you were doing at the time that may have had an impact to get you to feel so good?
I don't know. It's been quite a few years now to recall an exact.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is factors outside of food can play a role.
Oh, sure.
There's if things just everyday life plays a role.
Yeah.
If you're living in Hawaii, you got a good chance you're going to be feeling pretty good every day. One of those things. It's a tough thing to pinpoint.
Yeah.
But also, even during that time, I believe I transferred into. That's when I started juicing too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure when I went raw for that 6 to 8 months, I definitely wasn't eating meat, obviously. But I think when I started juicing is when I gave that up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at high, probably just as high as I was before as far as vitality goes. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been juicing so much lately. Maybe that's what I'm missing.
Could be.
I think it's a staple. It's a kingpin for vitality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you suggest to somebody that's interested in getting into this lifestyle? Do you think that the way that you did it is a good way for most other people to do it, where you just kind of slowly add in more fruits and vegetables into your normal diet and just progress slowly? Or do you think there's another way that might be more beneficial?
Well, it all depends. I mean, with anybody, the speed, it all depends. But first, you have to want to change your diet.
Yeah.
You really have to have an interest in learning about these things and paying attention to it. If not, I see it be very difficult to get rid of the vice of the food that's out there now, which is the TV and the marketing and in your face and the abundance of it. It'd be very hard to break that that cycle without some real want to change it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, society, just as it is, I think is one of the biggest hurdles that people have to get over. It's, in my opinion, one of the main reasons why people, one, try this lifestyle and fall back into eating animal products and other junk foods, and two, it's a reason that we have such a mental lock on that feeling that we need animal products, and that produce and plants are not sufficient. I think it's just a combination of programming from childhood to stimulating foods and just having to live in a society where everybody around you is eating junk food and stimulatory foods, and if you don't eat that way, you're looked at in a negative light or as a weirdo, or you just feel uncomfortable for many people. And I think a combination of all those things is a big reason why a lot of people don't succeed long term.
Right.
Would you agree?
I would agree. Like I always used to say, the most difficult part of doing what I'm doing is, for anyone to do it, is can you deal with the criticism? That's the most difficult part on the whole thing, because you get criticized for doing something that other people aren't doing, out of whether they're afraid of, realizing what they're doing is wrong or whatever it is. It's you deal with a lot of criticism, and you're on a small island a lot of times by yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they say still only 2.5% of the population in America is vegan, and it seems strange because this movement seems like it's grown. Awareness has grown so much, it seems, and yet, real world, you still very rarely run into a like-minded individual.
I thought I heard that the percent now that they are saying of the population that's vegan, I think it's 5 now.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but I feel like I heard that it's up to 5. But that makes it even more like strange that you hardly ever run into anybody. And again, you might be running into several people that you just don't know are vegan, or that are conscious of most of the things that people in this diet and lifestyle are conscious and aware of. So where are you going to take it from here then? Are you going to continue to experiment with fasting? Are you going to focus more on intermittent fasting? Or I guess, what are your goals for achievements with fasting?
I'm going to kind of treat this as a stepping stone. I'm definitely going to continue with my intermittent fasting. I think that's just a great way to live. I really enjoy what it's doing for me. It's just been great. Really, fasting is a way for the body to heal. I think it's natural for everyone to fast. It's just that it's kind of been hidden from us recently, and we don't really talk about it anymore. It's kind of taboo.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps up the time that we have for tonight, but we will definitely get you on. I want to start a series with you, actually, and just get a discussion going on various different health aspects. I know off camera we always have interesting conversations, and we say that we should have been recording them, but we never have. So we're going to get something like that going, kind of a series on this channel, and I think people will benefit. And so we look forward to having you on here again. I know I do, and I think the viewers will as well. So thanks again for joining us today.
Hey, thanks, Matt. It was great. Always fun talking with you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. All right. Have a great night, and you guys always remember to follow your raw intuition.
Detoxify your mind and body. Be the change you want to see. Small steps towards living better. Small steps to where I want to be.